Good morning. Welcome to day 32. Trading my Momo strategy. There's also Small Account Challenge episode 3. So today we had AEHL moving until I sat down. The moment I sat down, the stock started selling off. You know, apparently I am an unlucky person, and the stock markets don't like me. But AEHL made a nice move during regular hours yesterday, from $1 all the way up to $2.50, over 150%. It's been on continuation for a few days. Erna also put in a move yesterday again during regular hours. Spiked up from $7 all the way up to $15 during regular hours. Pretty impressive, considering that we haven't been seeing any action in pre-market. Regular hours has been seeing of action recently. Unfortunately, I can't be around for regular hours past 10. So it's not like I could be around to trade this anyways. And it would be very difficult to manage risk on some of these stocks. So, but there's not too much to watch this morning. PDIC is also another stock on continuation that made a move after hours once again. Been moving for a couple of days here. So we need to get back up to $4. It's 381. It here. The S&P 500 gapped up again today. EHL is very thickly traded. It looks like the ask and the bid are pretty stacked. When I open up the level 2, it is our top leading gainer with a 4.7 million share float. Where the stock is Chinese. That descending resistance line doesn't work. I looked at the stock yesterday, how it moved from 14 or like basically nothing, 20 cents, all the way up to $6. Looks like it did it again, $2, all the way up to $12 during after hours. This is why I was mentioning the other day that I feel like sometimes sitting down for after hours would be worth it. But then it kind of sold off 1.7 million shares of selling volume. Once again, though, unfortunately, my job doesn't allow me to make it for after hours, 4 p.m. I have one of two choices. Either I start work earlier in the day and I am not around for pre-market, or I start work later in the day and I'm not around for after hours. So I don't have a choice right now. But that's three big moves during regular hours yesterday between Erna, AEHL, and WOK. When we saw pretty much nothing during the entirety of pre-market. And then on Monday, there was at least one move. I don't remember if there were any other moves, but I mean, Monday we had Otis, but it wasn't particularly easy to trade. The first leg would have been the easiest part of Otis to trade. I just didn't trade it because I was wary of it being a higher float, easy to borrow. But one thing I would say, I was talking about this yesterday too, about what times I would normally sit down to trade. I would trade from 7 to 10. But sometimes on occasion, I think that you could adjust the times that you sit down according to market conditions. Sometimes after hours is a theme and you see moves day after day in after hours. I saw it a few months ago where after hours was kind of a theme. Every morning we sat down during pre-market. We would look back and there would be a couple of after hours headlines that would send stocks up 100%, 200%. I was even able to trade one of those times during after hours where the stock basically went up from like $5 all the way up to $15. I was trading with real money back then too. I had made like 200 bucks, 200, $300 on it. And sometimes trading during the opening bell is a theme, and gap and goes are really working. But then it stops for a while. It's kind of odd how the market works. Some setups work really well for a while, maybe a few weeks or a month. And then at a certain point, they just kind of stop working. And you have to kind of adjust your strategy according to market conditions. Sometimes certain times of the day are really hot for a while, and then it kind of cools off. The fact that we just saw two big moves after hours means that after hours might become a theme again for a little while. Traders will start having FOMO. There'll be more traders that are going to be sitting down the after hours close, waiting to see if there's another big move. I'm sure right now, because of how cold the market has been the opposite has been true for pre-market. There has been nothing moving during pre-market most of the time. With the occasional pops here and there, that there might be some traders who are like, well, I'm not even going to sit down for pre-market. It's too early in the morning and there's nothing moving. Why would I even wake up if I'm just going to sit here for 3 hours and there's not going to be anything interesting? Just wait for regular market hours. Just get on at 9:30. Wait for Airna to go up 200%. Wait for Walk to go up 3,000%. So that could hurt pre-market volume a little bit. But these themes and these waves come and go, I feel like. are waiting for news because there's nothing interesting right now. The only things that were interesting were TDIC, but it's below VWAP now. AEHL, but is also below VWAP. Hope it's not another day of sitting. Today is what, Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday. OCG popping up here a little bit, 32%, 1.8 million share float. This also made a move after hours to 293. A little bit of a pivot here as well. $261. Problem is that this is a Chinese stock with a history of selling off. don't know if I'm particularly interested in OCG. Still has 30 cents to move to get to the high of day. It's kind of bouncing off 260 right now. Does have increasing volume here. It's pretty heavy. Kind of a, a bit of a flat top around 260 here. 261. That flat top did end up working for the break. 261 up to 280 almost. Interesting how it closed in on 293 and it suddenly got shoved down by sellers. Just not the right type of stock to trade. We got about 3 minutes to 8 a.m. Hopefully we get some news today. Or sorry, not 8 a.m., 7:30. Maybe I need to, if we don't get any news, maybe I need to go get a snack, wake up a little bit. But 3 minutes to 7:30, not 8 a.m. Guess I'm still a little bit groggy. I'm not tired, I'm just a bit groggy, so. Walk is making noise on the scanners, but that's because it's just increasingly selling off. That's a crazy amount of volume. We're selling off 5 million, 3 million, 2 million, 1 million. This is a good representation of how I don't see new news on this. So, this goes to show how much the markets lack logic sometimes. How can a stock go from 20 cents up to $12 in 2 days and back down to $1? It was just a month ago or a few weeks ago that we had Bird move up on an AI headline. Bird is a shoe company, and its stock price shot up like 300%, or however much it was. So we're watching for 7:30 news. By the way, this is a very good example of why you should never bag hold. Imagine some of the traders on walk up here who got in at close to 12. Maybe they got in at 1085, looking for the bounce back up on VWAP, but it never bounced back up. If you don't cut this, it can go down from $10 all the way down to 370 in a single 5-minute candle there. At that point, where's your max pain? You could lose everything. That's 1,000% drop. Well, 100%, not 1,000%, I guess. No, it is 1,000%. I was right. I was just thinking about it in the wrong way. It was a minus 90% on the sell side, but 1,000% from the buy side. Anyone bag holding into this would have lost everything. BWEN popping up on the scanners, but it's a 21 million share float, only up 7%. Popping up on the high of day scan because it broke pre-market high. Continuation from regular hours. This is another stock that moved up pretty well during regular hours. from 250 all the way up to 5, with the last spike coming into after hours. That's quite a few stocks making moves during regular hours that we've seen so far. During regular hours, or regular hours going into after hours specifically. Does explain why some of the prop firm traders say they like to come back at around 3:30 to sit down and get ready for the after hours moves sometimes. Fortunately, there's still nothing that meets the criteria of stock selection for us Momo small cap traders. OCG was the only actual potential opportunity I saw today for this break of 261. But the fact that it's a Chinese stock, Chinese garbage stock with continuation on earnings news, doesn't feel like it's strong enough. It's worth trading. It made 20 cents, maybe. But not very much, all things considered. For the amount of risk that you're putting in, trade a Chinese stock. Other than that, I mean, I don't see any other news. So I am going to grab a snack. I'll put up my my BRB screen here. I won't be very long, just for a little bit. There's nothing on watch, so we're just waiting for 7:45, 8 a.m. anyway. So, but I'll be right back. I just ate a snack out of the fridge, took some vitamin D, walked around and stretched a little bit. When the market is this slow, there's no need to fret about leaving it for a small period of time. Most likely you're not going to miss anything. Once again, OCG reaching that 280 area before it's rejecting again. So 30 seconds to 8:45 or 7:45. Misreading eights, sevens is eights. Not good. See, is OCG going to reject up here again? See how many times it curls back up just to reject off of 280 and 290. Kind of interesting how nothing's moving, so OCG just keeps coming back up over and over again. We rejected off of 290, like this area up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goes back up. 5, 6, 7. This is our 8th time. At what point does it roll over or just break through? Anyone that's watching the stream and is, new to this particular strategy, small cap momentum, basically trading like Ross. I'm not the only one that's having difficulties finding stocks that they like here. Yesterday, Ross had no trades. Today, Ross also has no trades. You look in the community chat in where you're trading. And nothing that Jess likes. Nothing that a lot of people like. Nothing going on. Anyone who's wondering what's this guy doing sitting here doing nothing? Just the nature of the markets. Either you lower your quality standard to trade and end up red, or you just wait. Wait for something that fits the strategy that you're trading. I could turn into a hyper scalper and just crazy. But that's not really my style of trading. I prefer to wait for stocks with good quality news catalysts with a low float. FCHL. Problem with FCHL is it's been selling off for a while. You can see since $40 back here, it's just been selling off, selling off. So there's going to be a lot of bag holders on this stock, keeping it from pushing up. What is the news on it, though? It's the same headline. It's this class action lawsuit headline that they've been putting out over and over again for the past few days. I don't really see how this could have a big spike in volume of 1 million shares. So I don't really have any interest in this. You know, I mean, this could potentially be the first 1 minute pullback after a fresh reclaim of VWAP and a breakout. We had the retest, push up, and then this is the first pullback. It pulled back a little bit far, but it's pulling back to that $2, half dollar, whole dollar level of support. Like I said, I don't think I'm interested in this one. We're below that previous 5-day level as well now. Previous level of resistance. 16. $2 was a previous level of support on the chart as well. I think there's going to be too many bag holders on this. It's not going to... I don't think it has the potential to really push, do anything significant. So we end up with a false breakout on that bull flag. It's about 3 minutes, 8 a.m. I wonder why AEHL and TDIC are both curling back up at the same time, trying to reclaim VWAP. Both pretty much moving in sync with each other. 754, 756. They're related somehow. Hong Kong, traditional media. They're both Chinese media companies. I wonder what the deal is on that front. If you look at their 5-minute chart for pre-market, even their 5-minute chart looks similar. Although the 5-minute chart happened at different times here. TDIC popped up earlier in the day, popped up, sold off, crawled back up, pulled back off again after it failed to make a new high. consolidated below VWAP. Very odd. Speaking of which, all three out of 5 of our top leading gainers are all Chinese. Media, retail, discretionary, media. Anyways, watching for 8 a.m. news. WHWK has a 87 million private placement, but it's a 24 million share float. NVB with patent news. Look like it has volume right now. QUCY has good news, but it's an 11 million share float and it's a penny stock. Here's autonomous drone platform as Trump administration seeks 55 billion for drone warfare. It's a good headline. It's not the right stock for my stock selection because of the fact that it's a penny with the 10 million share float. So this isn't something that I can trade. WHWK. I mean, this is also usually a good headline. 87 million private placement. Float's too high, 24 million shares. It's also a no. ENVB. Been selling off since a move from April 24th. Going to be a lot of bag holders on this. In VB relative volume very low because we don't have volume in the stock yet. I mean, do I lower my quality standard to trade something like QUCY? If I did, we would be going to be in a precarious situation right now because we have high volume selling on this 1 minute candle. We're below VWAP. Although we're holding the 20 EMA on the 10 second, and there's a possibility this is just the first pullback. Pretty sketchy to be trading penny stock like this. It's below VWAP because it could drop 10 cents in an instant, and you have to take bigger share size on these penny stocks to make it worth trading. You see it drop there from 51 down to 46, drop 5 cents. is getting bought back up. So if it reclaims VWAP, this might be a good first pullback, but it's just, once again, it's sketchy. It might reject because of these high volume selling candles. But I'm not lowering my quality standard to trade them. Same with WHWK. 24 million share float means that it needs 24 times the volume to be able to make the same move that a 1 million share float does, and it doesn't have that volume. So I think we're just waiting still. Nothing interesting. I'll keep QUCY on the screen just because it's interesting to watch. Not for me trading, but just to like look at. As I said there, kind of false rejected off of VWAP. Pretty sketchy. BRX popping up on the Hive Day scanner. Has a biotech progress update. Still pretty light on volume. There's room up to 10. 5 million share float. Only up 7% right now. I mean, this would be the type of stock that I would trade if it had volume and a clear pattern on the chart. Right now, it's much too light on volume. So we don't know if it's going to actually go up or if it's going to sell off. And it's also not up enough on the day. It's only up 8%. One of the reasons why I originally developed the VWAP strategy that I first traded when I was trading in the simulator was exactly for markets like this. Most of the time I've been trading since I started, when I started at the very end of the crypto bubble, pretty much back in August, mostly been cold market times. We had a little bit of a hot market for a period in October. We had a little bit of a hot market for a period in January. Most of these months have been pretty touch and go. I had developed the VWAP strategy to try and filter out all of the noise and trade only the best setups that occur around VWAP for reclaims, retests, and bear traps. I wish that strategy would have worked out, and if I had a little bit more experience, maybe I could come back to it and see if it can work out in a way. Because sitting right now, doing nothing is pretty frustrating. Between yesterday being a no trade day, it would really suck for today to be also another no trade day if we don't get any news at 8:30. I'm sure Ross feels the same way. It's very rare for him to have two no trade days in a row. Did Ross trade yesterday? I don't think he traded yesterday. That's why he didn't do a recap. But I think I am remembering correctly. I don't think he traded yesterday. But even for him, like it's not very often that he has two no trade days in a row. So at a certain point, when do you change your strategy? If you have 3, 4, 5 no trade days in a row, when do you lower your quality standard? But he is of the opinion, and I have been of the opinion now after I did an Excel spreadsheet, that there will be opportunities. You just need to wait it out. There's always opportunities that come eventually. I did an Excel spreadsheet not too long ago where I looked at the number of opportunities in the past couple of months during a cold market, and there were probably at least 60 of them. That might be 40 trading days. You might not get an opportunity every day or every second day, but when you do get an opportunity, you usually get 1 to 3 chances on them, maybe 4 chances if the stock is really strong. So I know there's going to be an opportunity, just a question of how long. How long until we start getting opportunities again? There were certainly opportunities regular hours and after hours. Just when are the opportunities coming back to pre-market? Maybe I gotta start playing Slay the Spire again. 12 minutes, 8:30. Pretty much our last chance for news. I guess 9 a.m. is our last chance, but not too optimistic. We don't see anything at 8:30. Uh-oh. Candyman is bag holding again. On a penny stock. 300 shares. He just opened up his stream. Check how he's doing. He's in a very dangerous situation. MACD's about to cross over. It doesn't come back up here and break through the highs. He's in for a lot of pain. He's in at 63.88. Close to there. This could be an ABCD pattern, potentially, but MACD's crossed over. And this 63.77 is a daily level. 63.50. Cut it, Candy. Cut it. It could bounce off VWAP. The thing is, you know, his risk reward isn't great now. If it bounces back up, you can't guarantee that it's going to break through the highs. Your target would be, if it bounces off of VWAP, your target would be a retest of the pivot. Now he's risking over 8 cents right now, probably over 10 cents to make nothing. because that's where his entry point is basically at this pivot. So he's risking 10 cents to come out break even. If it does break through the highs, I mean, your risk reward wouldn't be as bad, but you also can't guarantee that it's going to move 10 cents when it breaks through the highs either. 65 up to 75, 75 being in the $0.25 level of resistance. So at worst, his risk reward is, negative. At best, it's 1-to-1. I'd like to see Candyman succeed. I'd really do. He's really got to stop the bag holding habit. If this comes back up here and he gets up break even, that's even worse for a lot of traders when they're rewarded for their holding and hoping habit. I know because I used to do this. I used to do this myself. I would get in, it would fail, reject immediately, and then I would be like, oh no, maybe it'll come back up. Sometimes it does, and you're like, great, you feel good. But when it doesn't, if this was the first pullback after selling off, and it just goes lower and lower, where do you cut it? You cut it at max pain after you're already down like $100. I've done it. I've experienced it. It's not sustainable. But it's addicting. It's an addicting habit. Sorry, I'm just checking in on other streamers because I'm bored. There's nothing moving. We're waiting for 8:30. Arina's popping up on the high of day scanners, but I'm not interested in Arina being like a 7th day of continuation, really. Too expensive, up at $14. I'll take a look at Erna, but daily level at 1588. I think it's just too expensive for me. Not to mention it's not trading very well. It's rejecting off of that level again. Is he going to cut it? It is 8:30, so I have to watch news here. Can't. Have to pay attention. We're watching for news. AEHL trying to curl up and reclaim VWAP there. Doesn't look like we have 8:30 a.m. news. As the 9 EMA gets closer and closer to high of day, it does have a higher likelihood of breaking out in QUCY. So MACD's close to crossing over. If it breaks 65, then there's a good chance that it goes up to 75. So I reject. So Candy should cut his loss right here. If not anywhere else, if not back here, if not the projection here, if not, you know, when it immediately didn't start going in his favor, now is where he needs to cut. In my opinion. Will I say that it still has the possibility of coming back up to 65? Sure. Sure it does. How likely is that? Hard to say. I think it's not very likely, but we're waiting for 8:45 and 9 a.m. This may be another no trade day. You don't get any news. There'll be a second no trade day for Ross. It'll be a second no trade day for me. Yes, I think he said that he tried to trade on Airna, but ended up losing on it. Small loser on Airna. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I certainly do hope it's the calm before the storm. The PDT rule changes on June 4th, and volume starts rolling into the market, building up, snowballing as people make new accounts. A lot more retail traders will have access to brokers in the US. I hope, I hope. RBI popping up on the scans, but it's too expensive. $53 per share. I mean, this is a blue sky stock. If it gets over, and we are over 55, so this is a blue sky setup. But I don't think that I can trade it because I can't manage risk on it. I'm sure if I open up the level 2 on this, the spreads are going to be huge. Hmm. AHL reclaiming VWAP here. Problem is, if I take any trades now on something that's B quality or C quality, AHL being kind of B quality, because, you know, it doesn't have fresh news. It is fourth day of continuation, and we are above the previous high. Technically, there's a reason for it to be moving. It's just, you know, it's not a super strong catalyst at this point on the fourth day. So if I lower my quality down to B or C and I take a loss at this point at 850, am I going to have the opportunity to make it back? No. This would be one of my old setups. So this would be a retest of VWAP setup. This would be the first test of VWAP, the bull flag pattern. You'd buy first candle to make a new high, looking for the breakthrough 3. In the past, I would have bought this for the breakthrough 3. See how far it goes. Closes with a nice big topping tail. So, I mean, if I bought the dip at VWAP here, like 295 or so, could have made 15 cents on it. But it really is kind of like stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. Not that much. A hyper scalper would be happy with 10 cents or 15 cents, but I don't think I prefer that. I prefer waiting for something that has the potential to move 50 cents, 40 or 50 cents. So this is popping up on the scans, but it's an 18 million share float and it's cheaper than $1. Continuation from a few days ago with some potential ascending resistance. I don't think I'm interested in this either. It's 9 minutes to 9 a.m. Maybe our last chance for news. Ross has no trades. I have no trades. Ugh. Tough. It's tough. And he's still holding that position. Holy smokes, he's turning into a swing trader. Let's see how DJ is doing today. He took some trades, but he's pretty much going to be break even after commissions, I'm guessing. I've been looking for other streamers to follow, but I haven't really found any more that are kind of trading Momo strategy. At least one, ones that their screen isn't just completely filled with garbage and makes it hard to watch. I do like being part of a community though, checking in on how other people are doing and checking in on Ross, checking in on the community chat. Trading is a very, very isolating profession, if you were to call it a profession. Without a community, sitting here in the dark with nobody to watch, nobody to follow, nobody to chill around with, ask questions. It would be very depressing not having a community, being a trader, in my opinion. So 5 minutes or 4 minutes to 9 a.m. HKIT popping up on the scans, but it's just another penny stock. $9.5 million share float. Chinese stock, no news. No, thank you. Not trading this. Boy. Jago came to say hi. Are you done napping? Are you all done napping? What's going on? I think he wants to go upstairs. He wants to go see his Grampy. Gonna go see Grampy. Alright, I'm gonna let him upstairs. I won't bother turning my camera off, it's fine. So, watching for 9 a.m. news. Last chance, basically. 158 million share float. I don't see anything. Not looking good. Stir crazy. So QUCY failed to break down 55 cents there, which was the low of this previous pullback, which means that it still does have a chance to break through 65 if it curls back up here and go higher. It could just reject off of high of day once again, 64, 65. But this could also curl back up, cup and handle, and then break through. Probably won't have the strength to break through right away, and probably cup and handle first. Assuming that this isn't just a second pullback on the second leg down, comes back up, fails to go any higher, and then comes back down and breaks 55. It could do that too. It just depends on what happens here. But I'm not, as I said, I'm not trading this. It's penny. Too cheap for me. I float this too high. So it looks like that this 5-minute candle is going to close red. So this has a higher likelihood of being on downtrend now than it curling back up and breaking through the highs here. Because now we're making a lower high, even though we didn't make a lower low here. Well, we kind of did if you consider the body of the candle being lower than the body of the previous candle. So this has pretty high likelihood of being on downtrend, breaking back down through VWAP. You have the decreasing volume as well. MACD's crossing over on the 1 minute. If it breaks through this low here, then that's pretty much confirmation that it's on downtrend. It breaks through 55. I wonder what it looks like on the 15-minute. Kind of a false breakout on the 15-minute here. It'd be about the same. If this closed green and then it broke down through 55 on this higher time frame, then yeah, it would be it'd be on downtrend. Right now it's still kind of unclear. It'd be just be the first pullback, but at least that is if my understanding of market corrections is correct. So 1 minute to 9:15. Would I trade anything at the opening bell today? I don't know. Maybe I should stick around just to see because, there's been more opportunity after the opening bell than during pre-market. I can only stick around until 10, though. If there's nothing interesting in the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes, what would be the first 30 minutes? But first 30 minutes after the opening bell, then I would have to go. We don't have any trades today, so I would have to be very careful not trading something sub-quality. The thing is that my gap and go strategy usually says that I should be trading the top 5 leading gainers. Something would have to pop up and be a top 5 leading gainer with significant volume breaking through the highs with news or continuation news. But as of right now, I mean, there's nothing I would be interested in at the open. Is it even the right decision for me to stick around? I'm not sure. I mean, Ross has pretty much been shutting down if there's no trades before the opening bell pretty consistently. He doesn't even really trade the open anymore from what I've seen. And it is true, you do have the most edge when the stock is breaking out during pre-market when it has fresh news. Your edge is a bit more diminished when you're trading regular hours because of the increased volatility, the stop orders, the halts. And managing risk becomes a lot harder because of the halts and the stop orders. But if you're careful about your entries, it does have a lot of potential for profit as well. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. It's an interesting bottoming tail in QUCY. Like there's a lot of bidding support down at 55. If that is the case, I do recall that the news on this was pretty good. It was the autonomous drone platform. They secured. So at the opening bell, if this breaks through 65, or it bounces off of 55 again, which is this level of support, as long as this continues holding 55 until the opening bell, the surge in volume might cause it to break through high day. But it looks like Candyman finally closed out his position. He should have done that a long time ago. But at this point, if it does end up surging through the highs, he's gonna be pretty mad. This would be a 15-minute ABCD pattern at the open. if this holds. Too cheap for me to trade, but I like watching them anyway. Definitely has the most volume on the day by far. 100 million shares of volume as our top leading gainer. All right, I guess let's take a look. AHL is holding this previous level of support at 284. So it could do another move on continuation, breaking through 332. We have this pivot here as well, 313. And then port down there. So AEHL may be on continuation. SDHL, as I said earlier, I'm not really too optimistic about. Could move back up on continuation, but this is a stock with a history of selling off. Ross is heading out for the day. TDIC, continuation from a previous day. Up over 380 would be the highs. Got some support around there. Market high was 371. So 3 minutes to the opening bell. We're just waiting. So as a rule, I don't trade the first 2 minutes of the opening bell at a minimum. Let's see what stocks pop and what stocks drop. Walk is really halting up again. The heck is with what is going on with walk? That's so weird. WOK. Ugh. So QUCY ends up breaking that 55 cent level, going down. CDIC broke VWAP, but couldn't hold VWAP. And now this stock is selling off after breaking the pre-market pivot 313. QUCY ended up making a red to green move here. as it failed to continue lower, broke back up through support, and then squeezed all the way back up to high of day. Curious what the halt bands on this is, because the halt bands are pretty tight on penny stocks, up at 72. So if it broke high of day, it would only have 7 cents to move until it's hitting its halt band. I mean, some people might treat this like the next walk, where they might be excited that this could go from being a penny stock to being up, $8, $12 like walk did in the previous past couple days. So people might jump on this. AEHL making a red to green move. Halt bands up at 339. I did see this on my side chart, this red to green move for the bounce off of the 200. The problem is that I didn't like how much it sold off. I didn't like that it sold off below the 200. I prefer the red to green moves showing very clearly that it's bouncing off of a certain level of support. I guess this was a level of support back previously that I didn't mark. I don't know. It's not super clear, a super clear level of support. $265. And it came up to 332 and rejected all the way back down. That's not trading particularly easily. I don't know if there's much point in me hanging around, to be honest. Unless AEHL can break through that high of 332, but it's shown that it's rejecting pretty hard. I don't know if I can trust it. QUCY is too cheap. FCHL is not trustworthy. OCG is not trustworthy. Most of the stocks down the top 10 leading gainers are higher floats. Pretty much what Danny just said in the Warrior Trading Community chat. Lots of things to watch, not much worth actually trading. I don't know. I think this might be might sound pessimistic of me to say, but I think it's time to give up today. If you want to be like someone, do as he does. And Ross doesn't see any worth in staying and trading at the open. I don't see anything I'm interested in trading. I don't have time to sit around all day and wait for something to pop up. Will there be opportunities again later on during regular hours? There could be. There could be. Who knows? Walk might go all the way back up to $8 again. I just continue halting up, halting up, halting up. It doesn't make any sense why it would do that, but it could. Let's see, is it going to halt up again? I'm just curious at this point. Doesn't look like it. It looks like we're halting up, halting down, halting up, halting up, halting down. This is basically gambling. If you're trading this right now, basically gambling. Looks like it's halting up again. There's no rhyme or reason to this that I can see. People can trade it up to them, but certainly not going to be me. And QUCY is continuing to bounce off this 55% level of support here. You know, there is a possibility at some point that does come up, break through 65, and then goes crazy like Walk does. But for right now, there's no reason for me to trade it. No reason for me to trade AEHL when it's trading this choppy. Pretty much want to wait for a breakout with significant volume that looks like it's holding a certain level of support. Hive day. So I think I'm just going to do as Ross does. I'm going to shut it down again today. No trades. I would also prefer a cushion to be trading at the open, considering how volatile it is. Or I would prefer a stock that looks good, makes a big move pre-market, and actually holds up for the opening bell for the first 30 minutes to be able to trade it. But we don't have anything like that today, so I'm going to call it. Thanks to everyone that stopped by today. I apologize. You know, we're not making any progress. This is our third day of the small account challenge. Not a great time to start a small account challenge when the market's this cold. However, it does give an example of what discipline looks like, because you know, when there's nothing to trade with a strategy, there's just nothing to trade. It's not much you can do about it unless you lower your quality standard. And I know I'm on the right track because Ross had no trades today or yesterday either. On Monday, I traded the same stock Ross did, but he just found better entries than I did. It was still very risky for him to trade because he made 20,000 on it and then he lost 18,000 back on it. So, I mean, was it very good as an opportunity on Monday? In the first leg, it was, but Ross and I had the same concerns about it being a easy to borrow stock, higher float. Not really trusting it initially. And then at the point that I did end up trading it later on in the day, later on in the move, when it was breaking out, it didn't move very well and it was already higher priced. So it is what it is. We're going to continue holding discipline. I'm not going to trade anything until it looks really good. Has the 5 pillars, up 30% on the day, between $2 and $10 ideally. Less than a 5 million share float in this cold market, and has some news that we can work with. But until then, no trades. I'm hopping off. Back at it tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern time. But until then, take care, stay green. I'll see you next time. Peace.